The King and the Snowflake. In a distant kingdom, where winter reigned supreme, and snow fell as faithfully as dawn broke each morning, there lived a king as cold as the ice that blanketed his lands. Some said he had been born that way. Others swore he had not. There was a time, the elders whispered, when that king used to smile, when he walked through frozen gardens without a cloak, when he believed his heart was strong enough to endure any season, until one day he stopped believing. He was a just ruler. No one could deny that. Harvests were organized, taxes were fair, borders were guarded. But his palace was too quiet. Its corridors echoed with solitary footsteps, and his chamber was the coldest place in the entire kingdom, not for lack of fire, but because within it lived a heart that had learned to protect itself by freezing over. He was afraid to feel again, afraid to lose, afraid to desire something he could not control. And he valued control, especially when it came to the armored bears. Beyond the kingdom's borders, deep within the frozen forest, ancient creatures dwelled. Massive as mountains in motion, strong as storms, proud as winter itself. They tolerated no trespass, and they never forgot an offense. One afternoon, the king opened the windows of his chamber. Snow fell in silence. Flakes drifted like tiny promises. He extended his hand. A single snowflake landed upon his skin, so delicate, so perfectly formed. For a moment, something inside him softened, and then a desire emerged, small, almost childlike. What if I found someone like this? Someone pure, someone gentle, someone who did not fear the cold, someone I could protect. The thought unsettled him. He shut the window abruptly. Foolishness. But the wish had already been made. That very night, a snowflake unlike any other began its descent. Brighter, more luminous, as if it carried a secret within. And as it fell, it transformed. First, an outline, then a shape, then breath. When it touched the ground, it was no longer snow. It was a young woman, her eyes calm as frozen lakes beneath spring sunlight. She blinked. The world was vast, the wind loud, the night immense. Then, the first roar, low, deep. Too close, from the shadows emerged a colossal figure, an armored bear, golden eyes, watching. Yuki did not run. She was afraid. But she remained. And around her, the snow began to glow, not melting, but softening, as if the forest itself were breathing differently. The king heard the roars. He rode toward the forest, not with an army, not with banners, only with his sword and a restless heart. He crossed the invisible boundary. The horse hesitated. He did not. For the first time in years, he was not running from a feeling. He was running toward it. When he reached the clearing, he saw her, small as a beam of light, surrounded by living mountains. His blood ran cold, but his heart did not. He stepped forward. The leader of the bears met his gaze. There was history there. Memory, broken trust. The king could have raised his sword. He did not. He let it fall. The blade struck the snow. Clear, final. She does not belong to the ice. The voice echoed like distant thunder, nor to the forest. She belongs to the heart that called her. Yuki began to fade. Her glow flickered, snow slipped from her hair, and the king felt something far more terrifying than war. Loss, and there, before them all, he knelt, not in submission, but by choice. I choose to feel, even if it hurts, even if I lose again. The ice beneath him cracked, not violently, but like the first thaw of spring, slow, inevitable. Yuki stepped toward him, placed her hand upon his chest, and the ice within him softened. It did not shatter, it learned. Warmth spread, gentle, steady, real. Yuki no longer faded. She breathed, alive. Winter protects, the bear leader said. But when it protects too much, it imprisons. The king understood. A heart kept too intact forgets how to beat. Days later, the kingdom awoke different. The snow still fell, but the air felt lighter. Children laughed longer, markets filled again, and primroses, small and luminous, began to bloom beyond the forest. Sometimes, at dusk, Yuki would stand by the palace window watching the snow fall. He would step behind her. "Do you miss the sky?" She would smile. "I did not fall from the sky to leave it. I fell to remind you that even the cold can shelter life." And he would smile. Not as a king, but as a man. Winter remained sovereign, but it was no longer absolute. And whenever a snowflake landed upon the palace window, the king would extend his hand. But now he made no wish. He gave thanks. Because he had learned something no sword, no decree, no treaty could ever teach. Love does not come to save us from the cold. It comes to teach us that we can be warm from within. And in a distant kingdom where winter still reigned, there was never again a heart completely frozen.